All right. Well, good. Well, thank you, everyone. I popped into a couple rooms, and it was wonderful to just hear your discussions. I think that I want to just share that we're hoping if you all can put some things on paper, share it with Terry, who can get it back to us. We'll use your ideas as the foundation for the lessons that we'll be distributing January, February, March, April, and May. So you will be part of our national effort, and thank you very much. And let's see. So we're going to just talk a few minutes about models. And this question was asked before. So really, in the pre-COVID era, we really, most parishes sort of functioned on these four models. There was full inclusion, where there was really a student could be with typical peers and things went well. There's inclusion with an accommodation. So maybe you had a peer buddy that was in the typical class, or you have a volunteer. We always try to not have a parent be that volunteer or accommodation, because again, we want to build community. And we want other people to get to know our special friends. So I would encourage you to try to work to find other volunteers. Partial inclusion might be where they join the class for prayer and maybe the gospel reading that you start off with, but then they're pulled out in a safe environment, approved setting with one or two volunteers, whatever you need in your particular parish. And they're taught just in a one-on-one setting and then taken back for a closing. So again, there's that participation with their typical peers. And then inclusion in a fully supported setting. And, full participation is the goal. That's really our goal. But again, like I said earlier, if they can't participate independently, we want them to participate with support. And if they can't participate with just some extra support, we want them to have knowledge of the task. And when we do that, we are including all of our students in the way of the cross. And I just think that this was a beautiful way to show these different models. And now in COVID, are we still following the cross? That's, it's we're in a hard place. We certainly want everyone to be safe and to be healthy, but at the same time, we don't want to stop, living our life, sharing our faith, and, continuing to build that relationship with God. So I like to say that we're calling upon the Trinity for help now in our COVID era, and that you might have a situation where the parish provides instruction virtually, or you might meet in person and be able to follow social distancing guidelines. And again, things like social stories, because there might be masks in a classroom, or a child has to sit further away from their friends than they would typically be used to. Those are really great tools. Or home-based catechesis, and with a monthly check-in at the parish. And that's where that adapted family faith formation model, that exercise we just did, that's where that can come into play and be very useful. In the Archdiocese of Atlanta, we have several programs. So we don't want just to provide religious education. We want to include all of our people in the full life of the church. And so, we do provide religious education. We've got adapted life team in a few of our parishes. We've got an incredible adult Bible study program, and I love the Rose Kennedy curriculum, which is just been recently upgraded for adult Bible study. It is easy to follow. It tells you everything you need, and it's got a lot of differentiation in it. So that's a really great one. That program is always ecumenical, because again, when the minibus stops coming to pick someone up for school, there's really nothing for our friends to go and do as adults, ones with moderate to severe disabilities. And so by creating a safe place, even in a virtual environment, we are able to evangelize. And those, typically, most of those students have gone to school with each other for all their lives. And they're just thankful to have some place where they can go and do something that's productive. So if anyone wants information about that, I'd be happy to share it. Liturgy participation. You can create a way for anybody to participate in the liturgy. And it shouldn't just be a special mass once a year. It should be a typical thing that's happening in all of our parishes. Music ministry. I love the phrase joyful noise. That was my father. He couldn't carry a tune at all, but he never not sang, because God gave him a voice and he was going to use it. And I find that's the same with many of our friends who they love music. They love being on stage. They love, some of them play instruments. So we keep, when they're included from an instrument standpoint, we keep it, so that they can participate. It's just really great. And then another wonderful program we have is called Fun Night. And it's a monthly respite program that we have in 5 or 6 parishes now. And again, the parishes that are geographically located alternate Friday nights, so that, again, people from all faiths with disabilities can attend. It's just kind of how it sounds. They dance, they do a craft, they share food. It's just a time for people to be together in community in a safe place. So I do have the program manual for that, and we're happy to share that if once we are out of a COVID situation and people are able to gather again. And it's another wonderful way for people to volunteer. I had a lady who retired and said to me, when I popped in at one of the parishes, she said, I thought retirement was going to be great, and I am so lonely. And I joined this just to have something to do, and this is the most wonderful thing that I've ever done. And it's just being able to be together and having fun together. And she was really an example of just using the whole parish as part of the program. And those volunteers are all Safe Environment approved. The National Directory for Catechesis, and it has been updated, but these phrases are still in there, that all baptized persons with disabilities have a right to adequate catechesis and deserve the means to develop a relationship with God. And that's what I talked about before. It's our responsibility to provide a relationship with God, but it's Jesus's responsibility to provide an opportunity. We're an opportunity, but his job to accommodate himself to come to all of us. The church owes persons with disabilities her best efforts in order to ensure that they are able to hear the gospel of Christ, receive the sacraments, and grow in their faith in the fullest and richest manner possible. And that's incredibly important because too often, we are the lowest of the low. We are, like I mentioned before, disabilities doesn't discriminate. It's in every socioeconomic classification, in every faith tradition, in every culture. It's part of life. You had someone taking care of you when you were born, and most likely you'll have someone taking care of you if you age out. So this is an area that we must do better at, and thanks to you all in the Diocese of Raleigh, yeah, we are definitely on our way. So, I want to thank Bishop Zarama, especially in my very first Mass at the Chancery, that he said he preached on love being our first language. And I walked out of Mass and waited for him, and I just said, Bishop, I'm stealing that phrase. I want you to know here and now, because that is the disability ministry. 110%. Love is our first language. And if you can't answer a request for love, don't answer. Ask somebody else what the answer should be, especially when it comes to persons with disabilities receiving the sacraments or being, quote unquote, allowed to go to church. No is never the answer. It is never the answer. Love is always the answer. And as a closing prayer, I want to share this with you. It sort of came out in one of the breakout groups that I attended, and I just think this is really what we are being charged with to do, and it's called Prophets of a Future Not Our Own. It helps now and then to step back and take a long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is even beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom always lies beyond us. No statement says all that could be said. No prayer fully expresses our faith. No confession brings perfection. No pastoral visit brings wholeness. No program accomplishes the church's mission. No set of goals and objectives includes everything. This is what we are about. We plant the seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something, and to do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it's a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that's the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders. Ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own.